Welcome to our deep dive into the Alps Mont Blanc region. I bet you're already picturing like epic skiing and snowy peaks, right?
Yeah, that's what most people think of, right?
Exactly. But today, we're going way beyond the slopes to uncover year-round adventures.
Beyond the ski season, right?
You got it. And to help us, we've got this awesome newsletter from Love to Visit France.
Oh, great resource. The Alps are known for being like a top-tier destination, but a lot of folks don't realize all the cool stuff you can do outside of winter.
So true.
This newsletter actually mentions a fun fact. Did you know the highest golf course in Europe is in the Alps?
Whoa, a golf course. That's definitely not the first thing that comes to mind when I think Alps.
Right.
Okay, so this newsletter really paints a vivid picture describing this region from Mont Blanc to the Portes du Soleil.
Gates of the Sun, if you're wondering.
Ah, thanks for that. They say it invites you to use and abuse superlatives. Sounds pretty spectacular, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, for sure. Just thinking about how vast the Alps are, those dramatic peaks, it's incredible how they were formed. Geologically speaking, the Alps are a fairly young mountain range, and those sharp, iconic peaks, you know the ones, they were carved out by huge glaciers during the last ice age.
So the glaciers didn't just create the views, they like shaped the whole landscape. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's wild.
The newsletter mentions perfecting your chasse in the world's largest ski area. Have you ever gone skiing?
A little bit, yeah.
Well, chassing is basically like flying straight down the slope, no turns, just pure speed.
Sounds a little terrifying, honestly.
I know, right? But the thought of doing that in the world's largest ski area, it's exhilarating. But it makes me wonder what makes the ski area so massive.
It's not just one mountain. It's like a whole network of 12 different resorts. They sprawl across France and Switzerland, connected by lifts and slopes. Just imagine over 650 kilometers of skiable terrain.
Wow, 650 kilometers. That's mind-blowing.
You could spend weeks exploring and still not see it all.
Speaking of mind-blowing, this newsletter talks about tracking one of the most beautiful views in the Alps. And let me tell you, the pictures are just stunning. You've got these snow-capped peaks reaching for the sky, lush green valleys, and these crystal clear rivers like the Arve River. It winds through the region. It's incredible. What is it about the Alps that makes those views so amazing?
Like we were saying earlier, glaciers played a huge role in shaping the landscape. They carved out these deep valleys and left behind unique U-shaped formations, which create that dramatic scenery. And then the Arve River, it's fed by glacial meltwater, adds another layer of visual interest. It's like carving its own path through the mountains.
It's just amazing how these powerful forces of nature created a landscape that's both rugged and beautiful at the same time. But remember, we're exploring the Alps beyond just the ski season. The newsletter mentions Chamonix. That's where that highest in Europe golf course is. Golfing in the Alps, that sounds almost surreal, doesn't it?
It really is a one-of-a-kind experience. Picture this. You're teeing off with Mont Blanc in the background. But it's not just the views that are different. Playing at such a high altitude presents some unique challenges. For one, the thinner air means less resistance, so the ball actually flies further.
So you could potentially hit your longest drive ever in the Alps.
Exactly, but then you have to factor in the terrain. It's a whole other level of complexity.
I can imagine.
Alpine golf courses, they have to work with a natural landscape. So think undulating greens, slopes, even a few stray boulders here and there. Definitely tests your skills, but can you imagine sinking that winning putt with those views?
Wow, it's definitely not your average round of golf.
Not at all.
Sounds like you'd need a whole new set of skills for alpine golf. It's fascinating how the Alps offer these unique experiences. It's not just hitting the slopes.
Right. It's about connecting with nature on a whole other level.
Exactly. And that's what makes the Alps such a versatile destination. Whether you're an adrenaline junkie or you're looking for some peace and quiet, you'll find it there. And like we've been saying, the landscape is like a major part of that experience.
Absolutely.
Speaking of the landscape, the newsletter mentions Portes du Soleil alongside Mont Blanc. We know it means Gates of the Sun, but what makes this area so special? Is it another cluster of those awesome peaks and valleys?
You could say that. The Porte du Soleil is actually part of that massive ski area we were talking about earlier. Remember that network of 12 resorts?
Oh.
Over 650 kilometers of slopes?
Yeah.
Well, the Porte du Soleil is a big chunk of that, right on the border between France and Switzerland.
So you could like ski from France to Switzerland?
Pretty much.
That's incredible. It really shows how interconnected this whole region is.
It does. And it reminds us that nature doesn't really care about borders. The Alps are like a tapestry woven from different landscapes, cultures, and experiences.
That makes me wonder, If you could visit the Alps in any season, what would you choose? Would you hit the slopes in the winter, hike through wildflowers in spring, or maybe try alpine golf in the summer? It's amazing how one destination can offer so much variety.
And that variety is reflected in the people who visit the Alps.
Hmm.
You have adventurers looking for thrills, nature lovers seeking tranquility, and everyone in between. What brings them together is a shared desire to experience something truly extraordinary.
It's like the Alps have this pull that draws people in from all over. This newsletter does a great job of capturing that sense of wonder and excitement. It's not just facts and figures.
Yeah, and it showcases how the Alps appeal to different interests. We've talked about skiing and golf, but there's so much more. Hiking, mountain biking, paragliding, even exploring those charming villages and experiencing the local culture.
It sounds like in the Alps you can constantly discover something new no matter how many times you visit. It's not just a destination, it's a journey of exploration.
Exactly. And that journey can be as challenging or relaxing as you make it. You can push your limits on a tough hike or just take in the beauty around you.
It's all about finding your own rhythm in this incredible landscape. This deep dive has really opened my eyes to how diverse the Alps are. It's much more than a winter wonderland.
And that's the magic of taking a deep dive, right? We often have these ideas about places, but when we really explore them, we find a richness and complexity that we never expected.
Like peeling back the layers of an onion. Each layer reveals something new and fascinating. So, as we get to the end of our exploration of the Alps Mont Blanc region, what are some key takeaways you'd like to leave with our listeners?
I think the biggest takeaway is that the Alps are a year-round destination. No matter what you're into, whether you're an adrenaline junkie or looking for peace, you'll find something there to capture your imagination. And remember, it's not just about conquering mountains or checking things off your bucket list. It's about immersing yourself and letting the journey change you.
Well said. And I think this Love to Visit France newsletter does a fantastic job of getting that message across. It's not just a travel guide, it's an invitation to connect with the heart and soul of the Alps. It's interesting how this newsletter encourages a different kind of travel, like not just rushing from site to site, you know?
Slow down and enjoy it.
Exactly. Taking the time to really soak it all in makes you wonder if that's how you unlock those superlatives they were talking about.
You might be onto something there. It's about slowing down, noticing the little things, and just being present. Like whether you're taking in an amazing view or enjoying a meal made with local ingredients, those small moments, they're what really connect you to a place.
And maybe that's what makes the Alps so unique. It's not just about the mountains themselves, it's about the whole experience, the culture, the food, the people, the way of life.
Totally. And it's something you can experience all year round, too. Imagine being cozy in a chalet during winter, sipping hot chocolate by the fire, or hiking through fields of wildflowers in the spring. Each season offers a new perspective on this amazing region.
It sounds like the Alps are where you go to escape the everyday craziness, to reconnect with yourself and nature. It's more than a vacation, it's a chance to recharge and come back feeling inspired.
Couldn't agree more. And sometimes that's all we really need, a change of scenery, some fresh air, a chance to step outside our comfort zones and embrace new things.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into the Alps Mont Blanc region, I want to leave you with this. Don't let the Alps just be a word or a picture. Let it spark your imagination and inspire you to seek out experiences that make you feel truly alive.
And remember, the beauty of travel, it's not just about where you go, it's about the journey, the memories, the ways it changes you.
Beautifully said. So until next time, keep exploring, keep diving deep, and keep searching for those things that make you say, wow, that was superlative.